Hello, YouTube fans and Facebook fans of DX Engineering. It is Friday, and thank God, and it is Friday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It's time for the weekend special, and it's 2100 Zulu on February 25th, 2022. And we have a very special guest on today. It's David, NA2AA, the CEO of the ARRL. Hello, David.
Tim, great to be with you again.
Yeah, it's so good to be with you, and it was great to see you in Florida. And David, tell us how did the ARRL National Convention go?
Well, the ARRL National Convention is sort of a sidecar, right, to a big event. And this year, the National Convention finally we were able to hold along with Orlando Hamcation, who were great partners. And the approach to the National Convention this year was for us to have 4 training tracks that ran all day. We had a really nice, I think, banquet lunch that gave everybody a little bit of a break during the course of the day. But I have to tell you, the attendance was fantastic. The lunch ballroom was very, very well attended. It was great to work with the Hamcation crew. We had the Dayton Hamvention team happen to be there. It was great to see them. We're getting all geared up now. That's going to be our next major event is Dayton. It was just great to see everybody able to come back to a major amateur radio event. And, there's still some people that were a little concerned about the COVID, that were wearing masks, others that weren't, but everybody was very respectful of each other's space. And I just think the event was fantastic.
So the convention, the training tracks on Thursday were outstanding. I mean, I could not believe, David, the emergency communications track was just packed. I mean, it was standing room only.
Yeah. Well, one of the things about MCOM is if you're in a part of the country where you need it, it's very, very well populated. There are other parts of the country where maybe it's a little bit less, but if you have to pick a state in the United States that has its fair share of excitement in terms of MCOM, it's the state of Florida. So that MCOM training track was extremely well attended. Plus, we had folks from FEMA and from CISA that were there. It was great to see everybody having comm discussions about ARES versus AUXCOM, which always gets people excited. It was just very, very collaborative.
And it's great to have that collaboration going on too. I know that leading up to this, there actually was 3 days of AUXCOM. So I mean, that is just incredible when you think about all the things that are going on. And speaking of that, during the Hamcation show, David, talk about some of the things that you brought down a lot of staff, you had a lot of services going on. So, and I'm sure this is a precursor leading up to Hamvention, but talk about the things that happened at the ARRL booth.
Well, when we go to a large event, this was a national convention, which makes it a little unusual. But Dayton, of course, which is the granddaddy of them all, we take quite the team. But we always try to bring a good assortment of member benefits to life, right? So now we're face to face with members. So what can we offer them? So some of the exciting things that were going on in the ARRL booth, we had our education and learning center. So we had Steve Goodgame in there, who was, talking a lot about the Teachers Institute and some of the other activities that he has going on in terms of, they're almost like They're almost like small missions within his area. But, you know, you take a look at what we're doing with youth. You take a look at what we're working with the blind and vision impaired community. You know, what we're trying to do with education and learning. You can write articles all day long, but if you're going to walk through the ARRL booth, it's a fantastic exchange of ideas, right? And Steve was wonderful. You know, we had Josh Johnston, who's our new director of emergency management, and you know, he was down there. He was very active in the forum, the MCOM forum, as a part of the national convention, but he was also there and had sort of surrounded himself with, we had some directors from the board that were there that are very MCOM forward. We had local section managers and SECs that were there. There was a lot of really fantastic idea exchanges going on, because frankly, from my way of thinking, we're running a little bit behind in where we should be in terms of our MCOM capabilities. We brought the lab down, and the lab was testing HTs. So we had Ed Hare and his team there, and people were getting little stickers with their green check mark, and could see whether or not, you know, some of these inexpensive HTs that you can buy are problematic, right? They have a lot of signals that are unwanted. And if you've bought one new and you want to see whether or not it's up to snuff, or maybe you've been carrying an HT around for a couple years and you wonder whether everything is still, you know, within spec, you know, we were able to do that, and that generated a lot of fun. But I think the most important aspect when we go to any one of these shows is we have a really strong representation in terms of membership and membership services. And we get an awful lot of people that walk up and they've got questions or ideas about ARRL membership, and they don't know that certain things, certain member benefits exist, you know, even though it's printed everywhere, right? That they're still, you know, pleasantly surprised by some of the things. So the ability to have a group meeting with members, you know, we hear an awful lot of exciting stories from members, and we love that engagement. So that's sort of some headlines from the Hamcation booth.
Well, it was a really great show, and as you pointed out, hats off to all the organizers and the volunteers that participated and made the show happen. So let's take a look at the chat room a little bit here, David. We've got Oscar Zulu 1 Delta Whiskey X-Ray is on from Denmark, and Ria is on November 2 Radio Juliet, and our friend Ray Higgins, Whiskey 2 Radio Echo. Hello, Tim and David. And from Southern Ohio, it's November 8 Mike Whiskey Bravo. And let's see here, we got Alpha Alpha Zero Zulu. Kyle is on, and Craig Clark, K1 Quebec X-Ray. And you know, David, Craig is just a tremendous guy.
Yeah,
Whiskey 9 Uniform Sierra is on, and let's see, Tom Kilo Sierra 3 November. He lives in the Aluminum City, and nice to see. Good to see things starting return to normalcy. And Dino, one of our bloggers, on allbands.com, Kilo Lima Zero Sierra. Thanks, David, for encouraging folks to write for the ARRL periodicals. It's a very rewarding endeavor. And Dino was published in QST here not too long ago. And our friend down in Arecibo, Angel, Whiskey Papa 3 Radio. And let's see here. We've got Kilo Golf 8 Radio Yankee. Jerry is on. We're always looking for call signs. And from Germany, it's Delta Lima 6 Radio Delta Echo. Back over to Denmark, Oscar Zulu 4 Papa Alpha Tango. And Whiskey Alpha 4 Mike Oscar Mike. Hello, Tim and David. 49 years an enthusiastic member and a life member of the ARRL from Kentucky. And in the UK, Germany 6 Alpha Delta, the RSGB convention is likely to be in person and online for presentations this time. And you know, David, that is a really important point. As you and I are talking to clubs, I'm doing a club meeting tonight and tomorrow afternoon. The hybrid club meeting is really, really important, and a lot of these clubs have really got it figured out. David, are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that COVID did in a lot of ways was to make fundamental change to our culture. I read something where home shopping for groceries jumped more than 10 years in progress in less than 90 days because so many people all of a sudden needed to be able to do grocery shopping from home. And one of the great things that happened, and it just shows you the caring and the resiliency of clubs, you know, during the early parts of the pandemic, you know, club members were looking out for each other to make sure that, you know, if everybody got on the repeater at 10 a.m. and Jack wasn't there, why isn't Jack on the repeater, right? So it's sort of a health and welfare thing. And then in wanting to, whether it's able to attend a church service or to be able to attend a club meeting, organizations around the country figured out how to use Zoom principally, right, in conducting meetings. And, you know, one of the clubs that I belonged to in northern New Jersey, the Fair Lawn Amateur Radio Club, I mean, what an absolutely outstanding job these guys did in terms of outreach to their members and making sure that everybody could get Zoom up and running. You know, you mentioned Ria before, N2RJ, one of our board members. You know, she's been absolutely fantastic with social media and the use of Zoom to be able to meet with clubs. And in fact, she and I did an appearance together with the Fair Lawn Amateur Radio Club. But the question becomes, as things return to normalcy, how is this hybrid model going to stand up? And you know what's sort of crazy is that there are people in our community that just can't travel, but have for the first time in many years been able to enjoy the speakers that have been reserved for some of these big events. And so I expect, as long as sort of from a large event perspective, as long as the event has the funding to be able to host a virtual event in conjunction with a live event, I think that model is going to have legs for a long, long time.
Well, and you're right. It's a great thing because it has given access to more people to really enjoy, you know, another part of the hobby, which is you know, the clubs. And the clubs are the backbone of amateur radio. And you know, when you think about it, David, there are over 2,000 clubs in the United States that are ARRL affiliated. Mm-hmm. And that is just a huge benefit, you know, and the Elmers and all the things that come out. Let's continue on here in the chat room. November X-Ray 8 Tango is going to see us tonight in the 160 meter contest, and November Juliet 4 Zulu. David, inspired by your leadership, has been a change in the right direction. So kudos from John there in South Carolina, David. Good job. And Kilo Papa 4 Radio Yankee. And we've also got John Knott is in here, November 4 Juliet Tango Kilo. And John, one of the big organizers, and your leadership, John, down in Orlando just was tremendous. And thank you for putting on such a great show. And we will see you in Dayton. And Ed, Tim, you need to get some rest. You look tired. You can't run full tilt forever. Well, you know, there's a story behind that, Ed. Last weekend, I was the 160 meter operator. Well, I haven't done that in a while. So let's see here. Kilo Oscar 4 Alpha Fox Lima is on, and Kilo Delta 8 Papa Alpha X-ray, and Whiskey 1 Juliet Lima radio. And let's see here. What do we got? Oh, one of the things, David, I wanted to bring up, I gave a talk on grounding and bonding, and I was reminded in that talk that, and it's built around this fantastic ARRL book, Grounding and Bonding, that Ward Silver, the second edition. And one of the guys in the audience said, "Hey, do you know that if you renew your ARRL membership, you get this book for free?" How cool is that, David? I mean,
Yeah,
that was outstanding.
Yeah, that was a really good promotion. People get really excited by these books that are, I'll just call them, sort of outside the center of the hobby. We tend to see a lot of antenna books. Hams are absolutely fanatics about antennas, and they can't get enough. But, something that's as important as grounding and bonding, and the work that was done on that book is absolutely outstanding. I mean, it's outstanding work. So to have that in your shack, I think is an important addition. But it's a book that needs to be well worn. Don't buy it and put it on the shelf. Buy the book and put it into action to protect your station and your home.
Yes, no, that is absolutely true. And I was thrilled to hear that you had that promotion going on. And we've got John. He says he's a life member since 1981. ARRL is Amateur Radio's spine. And we've got Kilo Oscar 4 Alpha Fox Lima. He's also a life member. And let's see here. Lots of great comments. Victor 51 Yankee Juliet. There's some good DX for us.
You bet.
Kilo Echo 8 Delta Oscar. He's looking forward to Dayton. And got Dr. Jim Braycoles on here, WA3 Fox Echo Tango. And see you soon. And Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey just renewed last month. And let's see, Jason's on here. Kilo Echo 0 India Alpha Victor. And so we got a lot of great comments. David, kind of give us a little view of the things that are coming up that you're looking at from the ARRL. Give us a little bit of forward-looking view.
Sure. Well, one of the most exciting things that we're working on right now is that in partnership with ARDC, we're about to launch a club grants program. Now, you had mentioned just a couple minutes ago that basically, amateur radio clubs are foundational to the hobby. One of the things that I talk to groups about all the time is when you go back and think about radio in the 1970s, there were millions, not thousands, millions of Americans that were holding microphones in their hands, right? They were all on CB radio, and CB for the most part is dead. And when you take a look at sort of the post-mortem, the two things that were really missing were clubs and a national organization like ARRL to promote the hobby for them and to be an advocate. So when we look at clubs, there's nothing more important to us than a vibrant community of clubs where once you become licensed in amateur radio, you've got a place to go. You've got a place to go to meet people, so it's community. You've got mentors, Elmers, they're going to help you. You've got VEs that are there to help you upgrade to go to general and to extra class, depending on what it is you want to do within the hobby. There's activities, your ability to operate field day or to operate with a group from a hilltop during a VHF contest, or doing public safety. Maybe your group does some MCOM or public service. Maybe you guys are the club supports a bike-a-thon or a marathon or something every year, like, Steve Mendelson from Northern New Jersey, God bless him. We lost him a number of years ago, but, the New York City Marathon was his whole reason for being. And, his building up a force of volunteers and getting them to support an activity that large, all of that through amateur radio. So what we're hoping to do with this club grants program, which we're really going to start to pump up the marketing engine on next month, is we have $500,000 that we're going to be able to use to transform clubs in this country and help them do the things that they need to do to progress as a club. And maybe it's got to do with membership. Maybe it's got to do with equipment. Maybe it's got to do with education and learning. It could have something to do with STEM. Maybe they're involved in a local school. Whatever those things are, we have sort of big picture goals for amateur radio, but this club grants program, and if you talk to the ARRL board members, they're using the word transformational. It's really going to take a number of those 2,000 plus clubs in this country and give them the ability to either create or enhance programs to make their club a better experience for their members.
Now that is going to be such a great program, David, and I'm thrilled to be part of it. But every ARRL member should be thrilled about that announcement, and just one of many reasons that the ARRL is our national society and making a difference. David, I want to thank you for coming on today. This has been good. We need to do this more often. And
I'm a text message away.
That's it. And it worked out really good. And we got a lot of great comments. And I want to wish you well. And congratulations to you and all the staff at headquarters for all you do, because this is the heartbeat of our hobby here in the U.S. and you affect around the world too. So it's great to have you on. So thanks again, David.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. And 73 from DX Engineering. See you next week on Tuesday.